Hello, geometry students. This video is to give you some information about signing up for a math class for next year. So if I were in class, we would discuss this together, but instead I'm just going to make a quick video to give you some information about this, and then if you have questions or concerns regarding your own placement, you're welcome to email me and get some more information about what I think might be best for you. So in general, students that are in geometry take a second year algebra class next year. So if you're currently in geometry, then next year you could take, say you're a sophomore in geometry right now, next year you could take honors advanced algebra, regular advanced algebra, or intermediate algebra. And in general, students that are doing well in geometry, that if you are getting A's and B's on your test, you're doing all your homework, you find the class fairly easy, then you'll want to take advanced algebra next year. If you are struggling to get your homework done and you aren't always doing well on the tests and quizzes, maybe you're absent a lot and math in general is difficult for you, then taking intermediate algebra next year might be a better option. And if you are in 9th or 10th grade and you feel like geometry is too easy for you and you're always trying all of the extra challenges and you are ready for more and the class is just way too easy and you're always wishing it was harder, then you might want to consider honors advanced algebra. But keep in mind that regular advanced algebra is already much, much more difficult than geometry. So it's a big step up to advanced algebra and a much, much bigger step up to honors advanced algebra. So let's go through this by grade level. If you're currently a junior in geometry, then next year you'll be choosing between advanced algebra and intermediate algebra. And if you want my opinion on what I think is best for you, you could email me, but you get to decide between those two. If you're currently a sophomore, you'll be deciding between these three. This is your current math class. Yeah, that's in 10th grade. And then you're deciding between these three. Keep in mind that this transition from 10th grade to 11th grade, all of your classes jump up in difficulty level between 10th and 11th grade. 11th grade students have to take chemistry, which is a fairly difficult science class. And then you also will have a choice of taking some AP classes like AP composition and AP US history, and even you could double up in a science class and take something else. Or there's also some AP art classes. And so your schedule might get a lot more difficult in all your classes. And so you might consider taking intermediate algebra if you want to make room in your study life for a class that you might like better than math. So if you really love history and you want to take AP US history, and you really like English, so you want to take AP Comp, and you don't necessarily love math, then taking intermediate algebra might be a good idea so that you keep your school life balance healthy. But if you're doing well in geometry, everything's clicking, moving right along, get A's on most of your tests, and you like math and you want to pursue it, then taking advanced algebra is a great option. And then perhaps there's a few of you that want to consider honors advanced algebra, but if you're a sophomore and you want to consider honors advanced algebra, check in with me to see if I think that might be a good fit. All right, and then if you are in 9th grade, then your choices are honors advanced algebra or regular advanced algebra if you're doing well. And again, most of you should just go ahead and go to advanced algebra, and only if you're bored and want more difficult work should you consider honors advanced algebra. And email me to get my opinion if you don't mind. If you are in ninth grade and you're struggling some in geometry and it's just not clicking, and in particular, if the algebra review, like the recent quadratics that we've been learning how to factor, if any of that is hard for you, then you should consider taking algebra next year. Even though you took it in eighth grade, it's really hard to get the placements exactly right, and you might be better off taking algebra next year, getting a solid foundation in algebra before moving on to advanced algebra and pre-calculus senior year. So we have this pathway. We don't have ninth graders try to take intermediate algebra. This intermediate algebra class is reserved for juniors and seniors only. So some students end up starting off in geometry, taking algebra, and then still feeling like they're not ready for advanced algebra, and then they take intermediate and then do one of these options their senior year. It just works better. 9th and 10th graders that aren't ready for advanced algebra take algebra, or 9th graders that aren't ready for advanced algebra take algebra. You don't have credit for that on your transcript yet in high school, and so that's your option. All right, so I hope that was helpful. You obviously can replay it and highlight the section that we talked about depending on your grade level. So email me if you have questions, if you want my opinion on your placement, and I should be back in class soon so we could talk about it some in person.